All right, so today we're here with Coach Reza. So Coach Reza, Sadhguru, who I, really admire and respect. He's a phenomenal, yogi. Has put out a video recently saying that shaving your head essentially can raise your energies. I've been bald for since I was like 14 years old or something like that. But I do it because I just personally don't think I look good with long hair. I don't know what your reason is for shaving your um, hair, but you're bold as well. Um, so, why do you shave your hair personally?
Um, I just since I was kid too, like 14, I just loved how it felt.
Okay,
And
okay, awesome, awesome.
you know,
Well,
when I'd have like people like stroking my head, like girls mostly, when I'm sitting in school, and they do this kind of thing, and it felt so good. So I did it since I was a kid, and
okay,
then
okay.
when I got older, I started growing out hair, but it just felt like a burden. I don't know. At the time, it felt like it was just too much work and effort, and
Okay.
then I started shaving it again, and it
Okay.
felt like I was liberated, almost like I was free.
Okay. Okay. All right. So Coach Reza and I are gonna watch the Southern Guru video of him explaining like how it can raise your energy and things like that. Reza is an energy expert, so after we watch the video, we'll try to like get his take on like whether what he's saying is valid or perhaps he doesn't maybe agree with what he's saying, things like that. So let's uh let's watch the video real quick. All right, so here's the video.
If you suddenly remove this hair, then you will see the energies will move in that direction. If you activate the two chakras which are above the physical body, it's a phenomenal possibility. It also makes your physical body a little fragile.
What so far from what he has said? What is your reaction? He said
I
something about the
couldn't
two chakras or something like that. What is your take on that?
I couldn't hear exactly what he was saying.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Is
Well,
there okay? I missed like one or two words which were probably important for me to understand the point.
okay, yeah. Let me let's start from the beginning. Let's start it over again.
Sure.
If
Perfect.
you suddenly remove this hair,
Can you hear him? Well,
Yeah, I just got to put my head close. Go ahead.
okay, okay.
then you will see the energies will move in that direction. If you activate the two chakras which are above the physical body, it's a phenomenal possibility. It also makes your physical body a little fragile.
I couldn't hear the last thing he said. It also makes your physical body what?
Fragile.
Fragile.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
What
Okay.
what 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 is your response to that?
Well, so what he says that it's pretty true. You know, these when you remove the hair, it opens up the what's it called? The skin, right? So that now all of a sudden it's getting oxygen. And when the chakras are getting oxygen, especially so first it starts with the area of where the chakra is located. That's getting more oxygen, it's getting more circulation. So he said when you remove the hair, it lets the energy flow that way. And that's what he's saying. It's allowing the energy to flow to those chakras more easily, really. It's because energy, even if you have hair, of course energy is still going to be flowing there, but it what he's saying is it makes it easier for energy to get to these chakras. But he wasn't talking about the physical, like internal chakras. He was talking about the chakras that are above the physical body. So he's got a different system where there's other systems, there's many systems out there, and some believe that there's only chakras within the body, some believe that there's some in the body and also outside of the body, and vice versa. So what he was referring to was the chakra that's outside of above the head. He's saying that there's two chakras above the head, so that energy is able to get to those. Basically, you're able to connect to the energy that is goes beyond your physical body. So I think that there's some truth to that for sure.
Okay, interesting. So let's watch it a little bit further.
What is this about? Good question.
Now, we've spoken plenty about this, but anyway, if you prune this tree today, the tree will focus its energy towards the area that's been pruned. And you will see, suppose you prune this part of the tree and don't prune that, you will see in this part of the tree, the number of leaves that will come out in the next 15 days or a month is much, much more than in the other part of the tree. Have you noticed this?
Very good point.
Because now that this is pruned, the tree directs its energy in that direction. The others it will leave and direct this way, because here the leaf must come back. The same happens in your body. If you suddenly remove this hair, then you will see the energies will move in that direction. So people who are doing certain type of sadhana want that to happen. So people don't just shave their head whenever they feel like it. On the darkest night of the month, which is called as the Shivaratri, the 14th day of the moon's phases, one day before Amavasya, on that day they shave, because on that day and the Amavasya day and the next day, when the energies are naturally, there's an upsurge of energy in the human system, we want to accelerate that a little more. So on that day it is taken off, because there is sadhana attached to that. If there is no sadhana, it won't make much of a difference. Some of you may know that, particularly ladies who have never shaved their head in their life, suddenly one day if they go and shave their hair, they will become mentally imbalanced, because excessive energy in that direction they are not able to handle. If already there is a small imbalance, it will exaggerate itself, because there is an excess energy movement in the direction. But if it's calibrated properly and there is a necessary sadhana to support it, it works to your benefit. So a spiritual seeker, a sadhaka, who is not only seeking for his spiritual well-being, who is seeking how to become an instrument of a larger possibility, such a person wants to use every little support that is available in nature. So shaving one's head is a part of that. If there is no such sadhana, if that type of sadhana is not there, shearing off the hair has really no meaning as such. And if somebody reaches a state where his energies are really bursting out of his head, if you activate the two chakras which are above the physical body, if those two chakras become active in someone, then we will not shave. In fact, we would like to grow it and tie it up just above that, so that it is protected and nurtured. If you don't have enough hair, we will use cloth. You think I'm bandaged or something? Yes, in my leg, but so if there is not enough hair, then you have to use something else. But you will need that, otherwise there will be… Once the two chakras above the physical body are on, it's a phenomenal possibility, but it also makes your physical body a little fragile. It tends to draw more than it should. And this is the reason lot of yogis die before they're 35. Because once they attain to a certain level of energy, if they don't know all the different aspects of the body, if they do not understand the mechanics of how the human system functions, if you do not understand all the tricks of the Creator, in how many ways He's made this so complex and sophisticated, because sophistication is not just to make it complicated. Sophistication means there are more possibilities than simplistic machine. This is a highly sophisticated machine. So once the energies have topped off, then it needs to be protected. If you have thick, long hair, that could be made use of. It's a natural garment. If you don't have, or if you're afraid you will lose your hair, then you dreadlock it. You know the dreadlocks you see in sadhu sannyasis. It can be done, I won't tell you how, because if you start going around with dreadlocks, that'll not be good. There's a way to get your hair into a dreadlock. So you do that. Or if you don't have that much hair, then you use something else. Garment or a cloth comes in handy. The nature of the body is such, the volume of energy that one neuron consumes in the body, in the brain, is many fold more than what one cell in the body consumes. So, in terms of the physical structure, how the energy consumption is distributed, you can see this yourself. If somebody worries about something, they will lose weight. The best way to lose weight is worry about something. You know that, isn't it? Yes or no? Because more activity means, more stressful activity in the brain means it will consume a lot of energy and it will bring down the body's weight. So, the reason why Hatha Yoga is as important as it is simply to be able to conduct the body in such a way that your energies are well rooted in your physicality before you attempt higher possibilities. If one is not well rooted in his physicality, then higher possibilities will take you off from physicality. Taking you off from physicality means one may become less capable physically, or he may leave altogether. Some of the Buddhist scriptures say, Gautama, before his enlightenment, walked like a man. After his enlightenment, he walked like a woman. What they're trying to say is, the body became less. In physically, definitely a male body is little more than a female body. So he became little less. So he lost his manly capabilities and became soft because his energy shifted to a different dimension. That's what they're trying to say.
That's cool.
So, to clarify, to those that don't know, sadhana means, and I just looked it up while the video was playing, sadhana means basically in Hinduism and Buddhism and Tantrism, it's a spiritual exercise by which the practitioner evokes a divinity, identifying and absorbing it into himself, apparently. So that's what sadhana meant. So a couple interesting things that I want to ask you, Coach Reza. So he mentioned that yogis die by the age of 35 or something like that. Were you aware of that at all?
I've heard of stuff like that. You know,
interesting.
These energy practitioners, once they reach a certain level, they just kind of, move on. So their spirit leaves the body because they've cultivated enough. But for people who don't cultivate their physical body as well, that can happen.
Interesting. Okay, okay. From what you have seen, is there any points that Sadhguru has made that where you kind of like disagree, perhaps, um, or maybe perhaps like have a different interpretation from like a because you're mostly a Taoist. From a Taoist perspective, is there anything that you have seen so far where you're just like, I don't know if I agree with that or not?
Oh, well, everything he said is valid. It's valid for sure. To the degree that some people will take what he says, is up to the individual. But if someone thinks, I can just shave my head and all of a sudden open up the chakras above my head, that's not necessarily going to happen. Um, but it can aid a person in creating more activation to stimulate, more neurons to be firing in the
Right,
brain,
right,
which can help to get more energy to go to those areas, like you said. So
right.
yeah, absolutely. But again, like I said, if you're not going to get a miracle by shaving your head and all of a sudden, oh, I'm enlightened. No.
Right, right, right.
One thing I want to add was that the hair. So something that Seafoam and Johnny taught me was that like when you have hair, it acts as antennas. So you know what an antenna does is it's a receptor of frequency, or in other words, energy. So the more that you have, hair, the more likely you are to get stimulation from the environment, from people, from thoughts, from emotions, things of that nature. So the more hair that you have, the more energy frequencies you may end up picking up.
Okay,
So it could be
okay.
good, could be bad. It's up to the person.
Fascinating. Okay, okay. I've always been, interested in, always thought it was fascinating that basically, yogis, you know, they grow their hair, but like, most, Buddhists, they, shave their hair and like they maintain that, and stuff like that. And then Southern Guru
Yeah.
pointed that out briefly as well. I find that to be very interesting. What about Taoists? Do most Taoists they don't shave? It's not like a requirement for a Taoist practitioner, right, to shave their hair.
Not that I've heard of. I see a lot of Taoists with hair, but then I think there's equally some that also shave. Again, I think it depends on the person. So for somebody who, like the Shaolin monks, for example, they're trying to perform a lot of mind over matter techniques and abilities. So you notice they all have bald heads, right? So in order for them to create these strong, energy fields around them, they do whatever it takes to develop that. And so, one little aspect of that is you shave that off, gets more energy to go to these energy centers that are actually outside the body, which will help them to, perform more of those mind over matter feats.
Awesome. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, the Taoist perspective, it's once you cultivated the energies, then you can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? So I haven't heard anything about requirements in Taoism, but again, you see some that do have hair, some that don't.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. Well, that was an awesome review. Sadhguru is a wise man. Definitely check out Sadhguru and definitely check out our channel as well. Subscribe, comment below for questions and things like that. So awesome video, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.